lurker. Occasionally, AJ, occasionally. It's raining. I don't have anything to set up to paint. So you know what that means. I have to get things set up to paint, which involves our favorite thing, sanding. Grizzly, you haven't been missing any. I haven't been doing any. I was trying to beat the rush and stay on top of my actual job and get things painted. And I'm always behind because I have to do stuff for the kids, or I have to do stuff for the house, or do stuff. I just have to do stuff, which takes away from actual work. So not as much free time. No after party. No, we hung out a little bit, not too much. Not too much. So I'm trying to get all the baits off their sticks, which I'm gonna have to AJ, I'm gonna have to get I think I'm gonna have to get new sticks. I think I have finally lost, broken, worn out enough that I'm down a significant amount. Like I think I went from 100, and I think I'm down to like 50. I think half of my stockpile has depleted. Builder dude's still kicking. He got sick and he got cold, so he hadn't been doing builder dude stuff. He's been hermit dude. I have to rename him hermit dude. He did grind out a few tasty little morsels during this cold snap. No, it's okay. Hello, you're certainly welcome for the lunch break. No, putting episodes for shows. That's right. That's right. Where's Morgan? Grizzly painter dude just hasn't liked us after picking on paint. Oh yeah, I've been holding. I'm a grudge holder. I've been holding a little bit of a grudge. I've been bitter. So what I need to do is take like this little box of one, or this little whatever they are, the little BDS ones, fake ones. I need to just go take those out there and just kind of have fun. Because if I mess those up, it doesn't matter. They look like shit. They look like shit. But I just keep them or give them away to some kid. Which I did send a kid a bait last week, and I typically don't. But I was feeling generous, and he wasn't overly like polite or gracious or anything. He was just like, "Hey, I fish a lot. You send me a bait." And I got some random shit over there, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll send you a bait." Sure. I had some quote in my mind. You know that if you don't ask, the answer is always no. I was like, he asked, why not? Here you go, kid. And he sent me an address that I've never seen in my life. Like the way his address was written, it looked like I was sending this bait to Europe, but it was Wisconsin. I was going to ask you what to do in extremely low humidity. Couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you. Never experienced that. I would think nothing. I would think everything would spray incredibly well. Isn't that what you want? Yeah, just get a humidifier. Put a glass of water by your paint booth. Sparking a fire. No, I think you're safe. I think you're safe. I think you're safe. Chris, have you not opened your box I sent you last? Not the paint your baits, the one before that. Oh, my gloves are dirty. I got clear coat on them and they're getting off on my freshly painted baits. That's the worst. Getting crumbs on them. Been on death's door since Christmas. Think about how to respond. Oh, I was sitting there thinking, I was like, this dude has still not opened that box. Had to pull some strings, bro. Hard water season may be over. Now you got the set, Chris. Now you got the set. Oh, I was actually. Hello, yes, I can. Does this one look okay? Will this one suffice? Maybe? That one should do. That one should work for Mr. Hellabass. No, I was trying to go back in history, and I went back and I started thinking, I was like, was my correspondence with Burns? I was trying to figure out which email it started on. And I have emails from Marty on my original AOL account. And I think those started in like 2009. And I was like, man, I hope we didn't talk on my Bama mail from school, because if that's the case, I don't have access to my Bama mail anymore. And all those messages would be gone forever. So I looked in my old work email, and I found them. And I started going back and looking at all the messages that Burns and I, like, there was one email thread between him and I that was 98 emails long. And it was from like 2010 or 2009, 2010 to like 2012. It was like a 2-year email thread. And I started reading it. And I committed the cardinal sin in the custom world. And I cringed and I felt bad, and I needed to apologize to Burns for my younger self and the sins I committed then. I did not know the error of my ways, builder dude. But I did the unthinkable. I did the unholy. I asked for a progress report. I asked, how are the baits coming? What a shit dick. I was reading through these emails and I was like, no, you didn't. I think I said any update on the baits. Brennan, come on, dude. I'm about to ban you from the damn camp, bro. Especially blowing it on the damn serious angler, whoever that is. Should have known. Should have known. Brennan's the mole. Brennan's the mole. Got too big for his britches. I guess he didn't watch till the end when we talked about Fight Club. The number one rule of Fight Club. I thought about to get to learn how to fish hard water here. Never try that for a minute to get some of the heat from the drop and thought us back out. Morgan hadn't been able to get his mail for a month because his mailbox was frozen shut, and then he got his Burns drop. Walked outside, his mailbox was on fire. The one buddy you show your secret juice hole to, and it becomes the next community hole. Pretty much. Pretty much. But I'm trying to think what else. Hey, speak of the devil, and he shall appear. The mole has arrived. No one was educated enough. What Burns, you were asking what baits these are? These are Fritz side fives. Fritz side fives. XRs, old ones. You know, just the huge. Just the huge. Got some rattle traps in here. Does anybody? I want to talk to, and I don't know who this person is. But I want to talk to somebody on a camper stream that would give me the real lowdown, like an East Texas guy that would be honest and open about original Bill Lewis rattle traps. Because I know they have, like those East Texas guys, they're they still hold the OG rattle trap in very high regards, and they and some like the older ones versus the newer ones, and variations of like somebody that's like a fisher, like a really good fisherman who's also like a super nerd that's been like throwing lipless or throwing like a Bill Lewis for like 40 years. You know what I mean? Somebody that's been through all the different iterations of the Bill Lewis lipless bait. Because like I said, I've thrown rattle traps, like Bill Lewis rattle traps, but I bought them all pretty much at one time, so I didn't have like, and I didn't throw them that much to know like a big difference. Um, Dustin, you think Dickie would talk? He's the type of guy though. He's like he's legit. But you also have to have somebody willing to like divulge everything. And I don't know. Dickie might be that. I don't know. Innocent mole. Y'all don't think there's a reason that I've never posted a picture or a post or anything of the Dream Pop on any social media? I barely show it on here. He's getting to the age where he might. That's what I'm saying. Like he's done his thing, and like especially that's the good thing about forward facing sonar is that it's in such high demand. I think a lot of these older guys who have like the real juice, not just like the bullshit juice of looking at a fish and like throwing stuff at it, um, like actual fishing knowledge, those guys might start seeing their knowledge as not as helpful or not as juicy as it once was like 10, 15 years ago. So they might be more willing to divulge something because of that. I'm not sure. Sly Fox fishing. I've never heard Jimmy Houston talk about anything at all but a Terminator spinnerbait. I think that's the only thing I've ever heard Jimmy Houston talk about. For whatever reason, I don't feel like watching Jimmy Houston outdoors over my lifetime. I don't recall him teaching me anything except how to reel a spinnerbait too fast. Um, Sly Fox, where would I find that video? Um, Did you see Hank Parker talking about his lipless the prior painted? I haven't seen that either. It's some old man's bait that he's bringing back. I guess Man's has gone out of business. If you look at their business page on Google, Man's Bait Company says permanently closed. So I guess it's on sale. I think it's on the Bill Dance YouTube channel. Sly Fox, if you would hold for a few minutes, I probably have a collection of old Cordell spots that are probably silent. Let's see. That one has a rattle. That's a teeny one though. That one has a rattle. That's a big one knocker. A lot of these little ones are silent. Yeah, that one. That Cordell spot, it is definitely silent. And some of the other ones, like they look identical. They're built identical. But this one was silent. That one rattled. Or it's got a knocker in it. Travis, where do I find that? Hank Parker talking about Pryor's bait on it's not a pogo shad, it's like a, I forget what it's called. Let me look. Where's my phone? He's been talking about it. Where's Dustin spelling? I need to read. Where did I miss Dustin's comment? I got some breaking juice for frog guys. What's the juice? I just got my force order from Save More Outdoors, and the frog is very soft, good hook, with the air escape holes are a pattern of multiple holes in the back of a frog. That's cool. That was my biggest problem with the whatever that frog was. The one that the Whiskey Myers frog. Hank Parker. I really don't understand why Hank even gives a shit. I mean, I guess he's been so involved in fishing for so long. The pawpaw bait, yeah. There they are. I don't want to see you, Hank. I want to see the baits, bro. That thing. The pawpaw is a remake of a remake. What was the original, Scott? We already know. We already know. I've never punched holes in the top of my frogs. Like with the Spro, never really had to. The Whiskey Myers frog, it did not release air efficiently enough. It needed that. It needed holes punched in it. But two of the Hank Parker spinnerbaits he brought back. No, I think they're just regular Man's Cast Industries baits. They're not special. He used to own a damn race team. Oh yeah, he did. I've got the you haven't seen my shirt, did you? You mean that race team? MetRx, Iron Tech, Performance Nutrition, GNC. A lot of supplement companies. Yeah, Morgan, I wish I would have used my brain a little more and thought to like test that. But when I heard it was such a good frog, I was like, I'll try this. I never thought to like test that. But now I'm older and wiser, so the next time I buy a frog, I would potentially take it out of the package and maybe give it a little squishy. Hank didn't race, his son did. Yeah, I don't know what happens with the manufacturers in their frog, the the plastic densities changing. I know that happened with the swamp donkey too. Swamp donkey was a great frog. But there were versions that were not great. Then I think they had, and you know what? Like, here it is, 2024 now. Why has it's not that damn hard to solve all the frog problems? Like, why does the industry keep coming out with like bullshit that has flaws? Like, isn't that the whole point of like putting something in production? Like, when it's done, you're like, oh, this is it. Like, people shouldn't get shit that like doesn't exhaust air in their frog body and like stays full. But like, I mean, it's ridiculous. But I mean, if you really wanted to, you could create the perfect frog. I guess you you really can't please everybody. Like, you could make the perfect frog, and then somebody would find something to bitch about. But I feel like I could make a frog that would like check all the boxes, and you could appeal to like all the like legit froggers out there. But he told me the new Berkeley frog sinks. It's an interesting. It's an interesting feature. Let me tell you about this new Berkeley frog. We've engineered a weighting system so that once you fish it, and the fish are short striking, you just let it sink and it drops down to them. You mean it sinks? The forward-facing sonar frog. First hollow bellies ever was called the fish nipple. It's interesting. Call me crazy, but I still like the Bobby's Perfect frog, not the new ugly ass one, the old good one. That was a great frog. Great frog. Spro, Bronza, great frog. I never tried the Terminator. Everybody said the Terminator was real good. Sloth Fox, I would agree with that. I really charged what my time and effort went into making this, be more than what I sold it for. He did have some. He had the tournament frog though. I thought I didn't see any Bobby's Perfects. He had the tournament frog that had the molded leg holes, not the actual rubber big holes. Knocked off Jackal. I would afford them how much kind of project for profit. It's true if they cut the corners on it. But I mean, the thing about insufficient products is like you really don't have to cut corners. Like, if people fish your stuff and they have good results on them, you're better off producing a badass product that catches a lot of fish and then tears up from fishing, not from just being a piece of shit, because then people just get pissed off because they didn't get to use your bait. You know what I mean? Like if your bait was just like a little more durable and a smidge better, people would actually get to use it and enjoy it rather than just like use it for a little while and you'd be destroyed. What's up, Sean? Bully Wah is the biggest waste of money. Yes, Bully Wah. I had those. I liked the big one. I don't know that I liked it. I liked the idea of it. Um, I think I bought 4 of those in the small ones. But that was back in a time when there weren't a lot of frogs on the market. So when a new frog came out, you're like, oh, this one may be better. And you just bought a lot of frogs. Yeah, I got a bunch of the ish frogs. I've got all the snag proof frogs because I had to fish those snag proof tournaments. So I've got every frog snag proof I think's ever made. The ish frog was a great frog. Trying to think what else. There's so many. I know a lot of people like the jackal little Iubi frog. I didn't like it. I bought it. The live target. Gross. Coppers? Frogzilla? I don't think I have a Frogzilla, honestly. I'm trying to think. I bought a bunch of live targets when AJ found them. Sean, those things that was the dumbest. Like I would expect that in like 1980, but the fact that that frog came out well into the two 20 teens or whenever it came out, who in their right mind would say, you know what, let's put some fucking Velcro on this thing, and it's like a bite pad and it like gets hung in their mouth and you get a better cup. People will buy this. Like, how arrogant or completely brain dead would you have to be to think that is a sustainable frog design? Like if Tacklecraft had a frog with fuzz on it, I would be embarrassed to walk into a store and talk to the owner and say, I'd like for you to carry my frog. Oh, really? Why should I carry your frog? Because it's got a bite pad on the top of it. Really? What is that? It looks like Velcro. Yeah, that's what it is. So how does this work again? It like gets up in the top of their mouth and like they bite it better. Really? Yeah. I caught one on the boom boom. Took me 30 minutes to release the fish off pad. I think he died. I don't know. Just like you put yourself in a conference room with people who have money, investors, people in charge of the company, fishermen. Like, all right, here's what we're gonna do. You got a new frog. It's gonna have Velcro on the top. Is it just a bunch of like doormat people working for these companies that are like, yeah, it's not a bad idea. That's pretty cool. That don't fish. Like, surely somebody would have stood up and said, this could possibly be the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like, are y'all brain dead? We're talking about putting Velcro on the top of a bait. That beats me, dude. It might work. It might work. I don't think it does. I mean, you can't tell me it does anything different, but I don't know, dude. Like, I cannot see how that thing even made it into existence. Like, you walk into somebody's office and you're like, "Hey, what's that?" "Oh, that's a prototype we did years back. It's got, you know, Velcro on it, and it was supposed to like help the fish hook." It's like, "Oh, that's different." I don't know, dude. But there's a lot of stuff that comes out like that. I guess I feel like how did it even make it into like existence? The Hangover. Both, Brian. Different is a nice way of saying stupid, but I don't know. Um, I just don't think I could look somebody in the eyes and say, "Buy my frogs, Johnny Morris. It's the best frog on the market." No, like with the mohawk, be like, yeah, yeah. The Velcro mohawk is key in hooking bass. Or make promotional videos about it. I have to go back. I need to watch some. Need to watch some Rambanus uh, frog. Watch him hawking this frog. Uh, Johnny, I've come to realize. I saw a comment on a YouTube video, and it said it was the dude quoted something about billionaires, and it said to be a billionaire, you have to either sell something or your integrity. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, dude, like that is probably 99.9% true. Like, you either have to, like, something's got to give. Like, you're either gonna just lay down and like give up whatever that your backbone. What is this one? I want my frog to say, "Eat me on top." Well, Travis, you are an honorary Guggen Squad member. I did see some videos. Speaking of the Guggen Squad, uh, I did keep getting spammed on my YouTube live or my YouTube home screen, whatever recommended screen, of all these guys talking about leaving Guggen Squad, or not leaving Guggen Squad, but pretty much Guggen Squad going a different way. And I watched one of them. It was pretty amusing. Um, listening to the guy talk about his uh, pre-Guggenness, pre-Guggenness. 6 Cents made the worst frog of all time. You think the Vega Frog is king supreme, dog shit, top tier caca? I've never owned one. I don't trust their products, uh, but I've heard reviews that they are poo poo. But I also had a guy that I fished with that said it was badass. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it could hook a fish ever. That is horrible. So what were they doing this whole time to design this frog that I'm guessing Philip designed, who now works for Bass Mafia, Guggen Squad? Like that bait took forever to come out because I'm assuming it was being designed. Um, but it's like that bait was engineered backwards. Missed 8 fish in a row on the Vega Frog. AJ missed every fish that tried to eat it. Um, they made it look real cool. Walks nice, but it has a 2/0 hook. Yeah, that's an issue. That's an issue. And that's the biggest problem with the Pad Crusher. Pad Crusher, badass frog. Great, incredible frog. Dog shit hook. Take that hook out, put a gimme in it, even better frog, or even better frog. But and they're always on sale. Um, were they? What was the plastic right on the Vega? Got a black and a white one for free. Hate them. Huh. I don't know. Where's my frog box? Let's see if I have any weirdos. Oh, here's my. None of my frogs have tails. There's my big bullywah. Whatever it was called. Why was this such a bad design? I mean, it's got a decent amount of bite, not a ton. This one's kind of hard. Oh yeah, that was one of my this old bronze eye. That used to be the color, dude. That one's pretty soft. That one I used to throw a bunch, but the back tore out. Still like my swamp donkeys. Y'all remember this guy? The precursor to the bronze eye? Vega plastic is okay, but they put that stupid plastic over the hook hole like the Whiskey Myers frog. Maybe they just couldn't get it right. Like they tried to over-engineer it, and by over-engineering it, they made it terrible. Which is what it sounds like. Correct, Dustin, the sumo frog. That was a good frog. Take it easy, Travis. This guy. I got some of these at I think I sent some to Eric. I think we split them because I was at Dick's or Field and Stream, and it was like buy one buy one, get 5 free. So I asked Eric, I was like, you want some of these? He said, sure. So I bought 2 and got 10 frogs. But I haven't fished it either. Johnny, I've got all the stuff to do it. I just hate doing it. It's just a matter of me sitting down and being like, let's change frog legs today. I used to do it all the time. I don't do it anymore. Because I've like half of those frogs have been robbed of components, taking the hooks out, taking the weights out of them. So I don't know what all. Like I said, I just need to take all my frogs and put them together and like reassemble them. Do yours with a bobby pin. It works. That's smart. Goes right through. Slide your skirt in. Smart, AJ. I always just did a piece of wire with a hook on it. Vega is soft as a peckle. It's just a bad design. The plastic don't compress down good enough to set the hook. Tom's still using the Sumos. There you go. Zoom had a short frog span. I think that was it. All came out. The Zoom frog, I believe, came out at the same time ish when Zoom discovered China, which is, to my knowledge, where their hollow belly comes from, and where their frog comes from. And I think that's kind of when they were like, "Oh, let's just start grabbing shit from over there." And you saw the frog pop up, the hollow belly, whatever else. I don't really keep up with Zoom that much anymore, but yeah, I think that's when they started dabbling into the Chinese catalogs, the Temu catalogs. I don't know that they even still. I think those have probably been discontinued. The Zoom frog, but I do like it because it's huge. It's that was the whole appeal to it. It's a big one. It's a big one. It does have a stupid tail on it though. But like if I were going to fish this, because I'm so organized now, I might be dicking this bait up. Doubt it, but we'll see. If I were going to fish this bait, I would take this and do that and just leave a little bung hole, a little red bung in the end, and probably chop this down. Maybe a little short. Let's see. Frog's big enough, doesn't matter. But the skirt is silicone, not rubber, which I don't like. I don't like the rubber. But I mean, it's got a pretty nice little profile. It's super soft. Where's the air bung, if there is one? I think it just relies on the air to come out of here in this bung hole. So maybe let's see if I can remove. All right, I have removed the bung. So now it's way more free to breathe. But it's also free to take on a little bit of stuff. I don't know. Let's see. I mean, it looks pretty decent. Looks pretty decent. Where'd my frog box go? I gotta throw it in there to never be seen again. A frog that will last a whole season. I don't know that such a frog exists. The best frog bite I've ever been on at Kentucky Lake in the Bushes in May. We were going through a frog a day. Like we were catching so many on it in a day that the the front line tie would pull up through the top of the frog and it would start taking on so much water that you couldn't fish it without like you'd make it like half a cast and you'd need to squeeze it out. Um, but Brownie's still alive. There you go. Hella's still rocking Brownie after a whole. I mean, is that the OG Brownie? Hell, I thought something happened to Brownie that you had to get a backup Brownie. Flipping the bird lure, the one with like 6 legs or 8 legs poking off the side. I don't remember how many it had. It, I mean, honestly, it looks stupid, but uh, with all those legs, and if it walked, it would probably put off a pretty big profile, which I like. Um, oh, that's what happened. The backups got eaten. Um, yeah, Jeremy, down here, frog season is probably the earliest I've ever caught a frog fish was in February, and the water was like 50, 52. Um, the biggest, like the biggest early season frog bite I've ever had, believe it or not, was on shitty Lake Tuscaloosa. And I think it was either late February, I think it was late February. And I was in this pocket and it was just a dead end pocket. And there was a seawall on the right hand side, and there was like this little patch of small, like the size of like a trash can lid. And I don't know why I had a frog on in February, but I did. Maybe that was in the days where you just put everything on deck that you had like 12 months out of the year. You know what I mean? Like nothing ever changed. But uh, I had it in my mind that I needed a frog out, and water was in the low 50s, and there was that little pile of trash, grass, clippings, like just you know weeds, and it was just hung up on that seawall. And I threw my frog over there on the edge of it, and I sat down and like dicked around on my phone. Maybe I was in college, and like probably like got something to drink, got a dip, whatever I was doing, and I stood back up and I twitched my frog, and the whole mat like blew out of the way. Like it was the most like insane bite I think I've ever seen on a frog, and never hooked the fish, never ate my frog. Like my frog was still floating there, but typically if you get a bite early in the year, like those fish don't miss. Um, but that one, like I said, my frog was just dead sticking there for like minutes, and then when I twitched it, that fish blew up on it. Um, but I like to have seen how big that fish was. Uh, Probably pretty healthy, but it was awesome. I bought the bird for shits and gigs for around bridges where they like hundreds of swallowing nests. Very, very A-Mart of you, Morgan. How did that work out for you? Hookup ratio was horrendous. Had exactly 0% hookup ratio. Sounds like a Vega. Sounds like a Vega. What's worse? The worst frog of all time. I need to set up a poll. The Vega Frog or the birdie? Flipping the bird. The worst frogs. What? Man, nobody. There's a lot of companies that can't get the frog right. Put those back where they belong. In these. Man, people are blasting out YouTube fishing content this afternoon. AJ, down here, March, if you want to catch a giant, March, late February, if you can get a buzzbait bite, it's typically going to be a behemoth. I've known of guys to catch like larger than average fish that like bigger fish than you would typically even see in the spring. Catch fish early, like I said, late February, early March on a buzzbait, like super freak fish, like 8 to 10. But I would recommend, AJ, you get something with a little clacky. I would hook these while we're sitting here. Oh. I had like a 6-pound trying to eat it 4 casts in a row. Never could get a hook. Fish was coming all the way out of the water. Made a head knocker. There you go. You should be good. The smaller ones seem to work pretty good early in the year too, like 1/4 ounce. Nothing too crazy. Loud seems to help though. Loud seems to help. See if I can get into these old Excalibur boxes without completely ruining them. Yo, Clay. Here comes the Booger Man plug. I'm not saying you'll catch more and bigger fish on a Booger Man early in the year, but what I'm trying to tell you is you should probably buy a Booger Man and catch more and bigger fish. The Vega didn't work as a car or a frog. Agreed. I never throw any small topwaterers. AJ, I used to not. Also, I was against that. The only reason I started was because I was fishing up on like Logan Martin, and it was in the fall, and it was weird. And a buddy of mine told me, he's like, dude, you need to be throwing like an 1/8 ounce buzzbait. It's like, no, I'm not throwing an 1/8 ounce buzzbait. He's like, because, typically, to me, an 1/8 ounce buzzbait isn't going to catch a 4-pounder, but it will in the right times of the year. And so I kind of started experimenting. Turns out you can catch them on that. Finesse topwater for me is the Dinger Blitz Wake. Hey, I'm trying to think the smallest. Like when I would go finesse for a topwater, I would throw a gunfish. That was like my finesse-y topwater. Anthony, I can't tell you who the person is, but the name sounds like Gordon Flea. Like I said, I'm trying to keep these boxes. They're pretty yellowed. They look pretty crusty. Tungsten one knocker. Best pre-spawn buzzbait? I would say a 1/4 ounce or yeah, probably a 1/4 ounce booger man. Gold blade. White or black? Martin Flea. Martin Flea. We haven't had the Patreon buzzbait stream. No. Went from 4 inches of snow to shorts and t-shirts and turning on AC. Yeah, that's how we had to turn our mini split onto auto mode to where it just guessed hot or cold. There's a lot of these. Brian, if you need to get into buzzbaits more, man, I think a buzzbait's kind of like one of those forgotten things. Like the Whopper Plopper, like even Castlemount, I asked him about it, and you know, he said like when he was at like Table Rock or something, wherever he was catching all those fish on the plopper, I asked him if he would have thrown a buzzbait, how many bites he would have gotten. And I want to say he told me none. I was like, you mean to tell me that you were getting 50 bites a day on a plopper, and if I went before you throwing the buzzbait, I would have caught nothing? And he was staying on that damn. He was going to stand on that hill. I said, go for it, bro. Who would be the buzzbait guest? Yeah, Eric's a good buzzbait tinkerer. Eric would be a good buzzbait tinkerer. He's got a lot of. I don't even know what. I know Eric used to throw the chatterbuzz. He was a big chatterbuzz guy. And then that became like the prototype lure. No, it wasn't prototype lures. What was it? They made the knockoff. Some other company made one that he was buddies with. And that was a pretty decent one. I bought some of those. But I just like the bug. And I like a lunker lure. And I like every size. They all have a place. I have some other oddities that I'll throw. One that's really hard to get that they don't make anymore is the Hydrilla Gorilla. You probably have to find those at a yard sale down here. Local buzzers, me. Like I don't know anybody that like Jody. Like Jody probably throws a buzz bait as much, if not more, than I do. So I don't know. It would probably have to be Jody, but Jody's not nerdy enough. Jody just throws what he throws. You know what I mean? Like he's got like three things, and that's what he throws. So it would be a short. Um, it would be a short broadcast with Crane because he'd pull out like a paper sack with like four baits in it and be like, "Yeah, these are good. Um, throw these couple colors and that's pretty much it." I don't know that I've ever seen him throw a black buzzbait. Come to think of it, he used to throw chartreuse a lot, or chartreuse and white. I don't know that I've ever seen him throw black. He would throw either white or chartreuse. I didn't either, Burns. It was the last minute. The kids went to their grandmother's, and I was up here late painting. I was even late to my own stream because I thought I could clear coat 50 baits in 12 minutes, and it took me about 22. But I don't know who the I don't know who the buzz piece aficionado is. Maybe that I know. Maybe that what's his name? Lee Bailey Jr. Maybe I'll call him. The original Cheddar Buzz was made by a guy who lived down the street from you. Scott, did you know him personally? I don't think Blockit will talk to me, Brendan, because I've posted some over the years. I've posted a few things on my account that have poked fun at Randy. Even though I am pro Randy, I still like to jab Randy, like the video I posted of him, or not of him, the video I posted of the old man standing on the log going down the river. Um, Randy saw that and he didn't respond, and I don't know if he was amused by it or not, but I don't know that he would. I don't know that he would entertain me. No, Barnes, we're gonna get you back on, and we're gonna do another one because I know you like the weekends, and Eric and I will get back on, and we're gonna go through the baits, and we're gonna play Burns Name That Bait. The FWC, is that when they used to race? Paul, you're arguably your favorite bait to throw. Agreed, me too. I feel like a buzzbait gets a bite that no other bait gets. But I guess people say that that's what a plopper does. A plopper now gets a bite that a buzzbait even won't get. But I don't think they're interchangeable. Like where I throw a buzzbait, I don't think you could take a plopper and do the same thing. Because you can't bump a tree with a plopper. First problem. If my buzzbait's running to the left and there's a big juicy cypress tree, I can't run my plopper directly into the tree and hit it. With a buzzbait, I certainly can, which makes a difference. Um, but I think the biggest misconception that kind of with the plopper is that when it came out, it was like the buzzbait killer, and it's like it's not the same thing. Uh, like I can see where one would work instead of the other given your circumstances, but like I don't, they're not interchangeable. Interchangeable baits or like a replacement for the other one. It's just a completely different bite and bait and presentation. So buzzbait is one of the hardest baits for me to get a bite on. That's interesting. That's interesting. Wonder why that is. Hmm. I don't know. Can't replace a buzzbait with a plopper. Now plopper versus topwater prop. Yeah, that was, see, Kyle, that was my thing with the plopper that I never could understand. Um, was that growing up, I fished a devil's horse a ton. My dad threw a nipidity a ton. Threw lots of double propped baits, a lot. And if you reeled that thing in, you never got bit, ever. And you know, a plopper makes a lot more commotion, but you would think like a devil's horse being reeled in with double props would be like a finesse plopper, right? So you would think if a plopper is that good, you should at least get some bites reeling in a devil's horse. But I never could. I think that's why I was like slow on the slow on the whatever train. So, do I have any smart people out there? So I know you can take speaker batteries. I mean, speaker magnets, like on the back of big speakers, audio speakers, and you can rub your like tools on there to magnetize it. How do you demagnetize it? Do you rub it on the other speaker? Because my split ring pliers have somehow become magnetized, and now when I get done twisting a split ring off, they just stick. Like it's real weird. I don't like that. That's not hung on, that's just stuck to my pliers. Not good. Not good. Slowing me down. Now this is like this is almost like using those Texas tackle pliers. Heat it. I don't know. Does that work to demagnetize something? I thought you could rub them on the back of a, like one speaker would magnetize, and then you could rub it on the other speaker to demagnetize it. I don't know if heat has anything to do with magnetizing. Surely somebody will know. Clay, I did used to have I had a neighbor up there at the river house. Um, but old dude used to throw a buzz bait more underwater than he did above water. So if you came to the ramp looking for tips and you're like, how'd you catch them? And he said, I caught 30 on a buzz bait. You might go out there and throw a buzz bait and get no bites. But upon further inspection, you would find out that he, in fact, did catch 30 on a buzz bait, except subsurface. I'll figure it out. I think you just need like the opposite kind of magnet. Heat it with a lighter. How hot does it need to get? Like a propane torch or like a cigarette lighter will work? Am I gonna fuck up my like 10-year-old pliers? You know what Mickey said in his live, Brendan, that made a lot of sense? If y'all want to make a bait, if y'all want to design a swim bait, why has nobody asked me? Great question. The guy has been doing it 20 something years, building badass swim baits, and you have all these companies trying to design swim baits. Why has nobody, like, in their right mind, thrown money at Mickey and just spent the money, even if it was like 15 grand, 10, 20 grand, whatever it is? Like, you probably get it back, but you would have a like legit badass bait. I don't know. So let's see. Let's see if these are still magnetized. Might not have got them hot enough. They're still magneted. I think I might need to get them hotter, maybe. The Turkla video. Which one? The one that was like his rebuttal from the 4-year-old Guggen Squad video or Milliken video. I did see that. The thing about it is Rob actually went pretty soft. He could have went like even deeper. Like he touched on the movement. He touched on the whatever the hybrid hunter bait was. He did the crush, but he could have got into the crush DD and got into the fat-free shad lip with a gill plate pretty much and scales on the side. So it was basically fat-free shad. But he could have, I mean, he could have went to the Dogma and it was a, pretty much a little vixen. He could have kept going. He could have kept going, but he chose not to, I guess. I guess I don't know. I would have If it would have been me, I would have just went through all of them. Like, why stop? You know? Why stop? Anybody thrown the square bull? Oh, does it need to be glowing, Sean? Catchco had Buka do that deal, and they made that baby bull shed. It is a solid bait. Yeah, but at what point, like, does a baby bull shad catch a fish that like other baits won't catch? Like, I don't feel like a baby bull shad will catch a fish that like a crankbait fish like wouldn't have caught a fish that wouldn't have been like a crankbait, or like swimming a worm, like, or a skinny dipper or something else. Like, it kind of defeats the purpose of a swim bait. Let's see. 5.5. All 5.5s. Are you loading your cart, Morgan? Jeremy, I don't think that, but the whole purpose of a swim bait is for it to be a larger profile to draw a fish out. When you constantly shrink them to nothing, like, what's even the point then? You know what I mean? Like, at that point, you're just throwing a crankbait, or you're throwing a spinnerbait, or you're throwing something else. Baby bulls to make guys feel like swim baiters, I guess. I don't know. I never understood it. Or I don't know what it, like, where it fits. I guess most of the people buying them are like pond fishing or something. I don't know. Be good for a pond. I just can't picture myself going out on the lake and being like, ooh, this looks like baby bull shad weather. Baby bull rat, I like that one's a little cooler concept to me. I don't know. The little Kitex? I don't know. You can feel the baby bull rat. I don't know that I've ever. I don't know that I've ever seen one of these baits in person. Do they sell those in a store, or are they exclusive to Mystery Tackle Box or whoever it is? They sell a demagnetizer for $4. There's a way to do it with another magnet. I just don't know what it is, because I've done it before. I think you have to have speaker magnets. I think you have to have 2 matching speakers. So I'm going to go disassemble my truck and take the speakers out so I can demagnetize and not spend $4 on a demagnetizer. Shop Carl's is having a huge sale. Don't they always have huge sales? Aren't they like their the like furniture people that always advertise like they're never not having a sale? Huge blowout sale, going out of business sale. And then like 30 years later, they're still not out of business, but they're still having going out of business blowout sales. Is that illegal, Sean? You're an attorney. Is it illegal for me to have a going out of business sale when I'm not going out of business? Shop Carl's is the Temu of fishing. I think that's the funny thing about it is all those mystery box people. They thought they could just like get on Alibaba, find a manufacturer, get them to repackage some Temu worms, put their name on it, and nobody would notice. And for the most part, I don't think people did or cared. They're like, oh, these guys are like engineering this shit. No, they just picked it out of a catalog, dude. Like all these people have house brands. The new G-Rat jerkbait, they didn't design. I can show you the damn picture in the manufacturer's catalog. I won't reveal who the manufacturer is, but yes, it was already there. They had already made it. They just picked it. I said, "You see that? We want that one. Take it out of your catalog. We're going to take rights of the bait, and you're just going to put our colors on it, or your colors. It doesn't matter." Technically false advertising, but nobody gets hurt from it. I don't know. If you lose a bait, they will replace it. That could be the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I got samples of baits that look similar to recent controversial baits. Hangover? Are you painting soft baits now, AJ? Cridge. Cridge. What a stupid name. I think a lot of times towards the end, new owners buy the entire inventory for below the original cost and continues to run them going out of business sale to liquidate it all. Possibly. 4 years ago, but has recently resurfaced. Is that? Are we talking about the swim bait? Yeah, I don't think people are huge fans of the. I don't think people are huge fans of the Hangover. Oh, the 6th Sense Guggen Azuma Lipless. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I guess Bass Mafia has a lipless coming out. I wonder if Ike is still going to get paid for his Rapala colors. I'm willing. I don't know what his contract is, but I'm willing to bet all those are going to get renamed, or they'll keep paying him. They'll probably pay him till all the stock is gone, and then once all the baits are out, he'll be done. They're going to discontinue Demon. No way. No way. You better hope they do, AJ. That'd be the best thing to ever happen to you and me. You wouldn't, dude. If they discontinued Demon, that's all you'd have. That's all you'd have to paint. You could just go to the store, buy 100 DT6s, and just paint them all in Demon, and collect your money. Yeah, they did do Fritz dirty, didn't they? They did do Fritz dirty. I don't know. Good question. What will come of Ike and Rapallo's relationship? I guess we shall see. No more deep DT6 in your face. Deep little lid in your chin. That's another one. What's another Ike phrase he could use? What are these things called? Didn't he use them Berkeley baits? Fritz said, "Hold my beer. Hold my beer." Yeah, if they discontinued DT6, I mean, not DT6, Demon, that would be wild times, dude. Nothing's happened like that in a while. Like, I can't think of any like color crazes. AJ, can you? I mean, this for me, this was a little bit of a color craze, but not like because nobody really knew where it came from. I'm sure a lot of people painted it for other people asking for it after it got shown. But like AJ, but when Randy Howell won Gunnersville on the DT6 Demon, that one was wild. That one was wild. That was wild times. That was the biggest. I would say that was the biggest buzz I ever saw over a color. It was almost as good as Van Dam winning in Louisiana in Catawatchee on a chartreuse and blackback Strike King 1.5. And apparently there was a shortage of chartreuse and black 1.5s. And you can paint those things all day long and sell them. Northern Secret 110s. That wasn't maybe for you, AJ. That was not a big. That was not a big wave for me. It was. It was. It was like the Demon DT6 Randy Howell was a wave. Northern Secret was like a singular raindrop hitting the ocean. Yeah, the purpley pinky ready. Besides green, bleeding gizzard or green gizzard, green bleeding olive shiner. That's only two colors. DT's worth of shit. Demon, Bleeding Olive. Nebraska Crawl RK55s. The first year you painted it? Or the first year 12+1 Fishing released it? You know what's interesting, Jeremy? I've read some statistics that you wouldn't think it, but red is like highest selling color across the map in hard baits, like crankbaits, for lots of manufacturers. And you wouldn't think that, but for some reason, I guess people just like buying red stuff. I don't know. A lot of red gets bought though. First year, then Stone Cold was available, and they said, "No, no, no, Horseshoe Man." No, 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 Horseshoe. You would think, Brendan, you would think. But you got to think also, there's only so many variations of red baits, like in like the DT lineup. Like they have a lot of shads, so it gets like broken down. Hello, Bobby Balsa. I own one Fritz side. I've never thrown it. I have heard they're fragile. Maybe that's part of the magic. Maybe that's part of the Fritz magic. I mean, I feel like if they were smart, they would go ahead and tell you that. They say, "Hey, I know I've heard guys talk about these breaking a lot, but they do that for a reason, because we can't get that bait to do what we want it to do with that hard plastic. We got to use different plastic." And then everybody says, "Oh, okay." Okay, Fritz. Thanks. Yeah, they've got Demon. They've got that red with the green back one. And I don't know what other one they have. I mean, obviously it's forgettable. That's the only two I remember. The greenback one's the shit. Oh, yeah, the reverse one. Yeah, you don't want to paint over those. Nobody does. The one that looks like an octopus. Where did that hook go? A blue crawl? They do have that blue crawl. You're talking about the blue and white one? It's like blue and bone. I'm not a fan of their crawfish markings. Never have been. I would probably throw I feel like Demon looks good in that color, in the red one, but other ones don't. All right, I'm gonna get off of here. I gotta take this call. That'll be good. Thanks for sticking around. We'll talk another day. Adios. Yo.